believe we're live.
If you give me 1 second.
Okay.
We are going live very soon.
Okay. Let's start. Welcome for those who have been able to get through on the platform glitch that we had here. But before I welcome and introduce our distinguished guest speaker here, this is part of a broader virtual speaker series, if you will, program, and it's it's support with Global Affairs Canada and our also funding groups from gold sponsors such as Export Development Canada. And we had a group called our international colleagues that we always like to bring into the mix with all this, which is Business France. So welcome to them. Again, before I introduce our speaker, I'd like to first introduce our friend and colleague live in Colombia there, Juan David Gomez, our Trade Commissioner from the Embassy, and to say a few words. Juan?
Thank you, Ryan. It's a pleasure being here today with you. I'm here today representing the Trade Commissioner Service, and I'm joined by my colleague Claudia Gutierrez, who covers clean technologies, and we work together in the mining sector. It's a pleasure working with MSTA always. We, as you probably know, the Trade Commissioner Service works to open and develop opportunities of growth for Canadian companies that are offering and leading the way in innovation for the mining industry. And we have the pleasure to be here today with one of the most known and recognized companies in the Colombian market, which is Gran Colombia Gold. They are the biggest gold producers in the market. I'm not going to get a lot into detail because Juliana is going to make that presentation. But again, we are very happy to be here to work together in this initiative with MSTA. We have collaborated as well with the Australian government for this initiative. And again, we are here to support you and to help you develop your business and to bring the best of Canadian mining innovation to, in this case, to Colombia, but for the Trade Commissioner Service to all of our offices in more than 150 cities around the world. So again, it's a pleasure, Ryan, and to the audience, we are here to support you and to help you in any way we can.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Juan David. So without further ado, I'd love to introduce our guest speaker from Gran Colombia Gold. I'm very pleased and excited to have Juliana Gomez here. If I can just share a little bit about her profile. She's, as Juan David said earlier, perfectly suited for this presentation for us, as she is the administrative manager that has been with the company for since 2010, so 10 years, and is one of the big pieces she's in charge of course, is the procurement department. So very glad to have her here. She's no stranger also to these types of events, as she used to work with Pro Colombia, which is very similar to, I guess, what Juan David does to us. She was promoting Colombia. She has a master's degree in marketing management from the University of Westminster of London, and also a business and operations management degree from the Business Center of Oxford Brookes University. So it is my pleasure and honor to introduce Juliana Gomez. Juliana, it is your, you have the floor, if you will.
Okay, thank you very much, everyone, for being here today and for taking the time to listen to my presentation. I'm going to share my presentation. Hold on 1 second. Okay, can you see my presentation, Ryan? Yes. Okay.
Perfect. Yeah.
Okay. So as Ryan mentioned, I've been in the company for 10 years. Since the beginning, actually, I was actually the 4th employee that I was hired. So I have quite a lot of knowledge about the company and all the the journey that the company has been through. So I would like to say that, okay, well, who we are, Gran Colombia Gold is a Canadian-based gold and silver exploration company where with focus on production and developing the mines. And our primary operations are based in Medellin, Antioquia, in a municipality called Segovia. We are currently the largest underground gold and silver producer in the country, and we have several underground mines and 2 processing plants. Our main projects are located, as you can see in our map, is in Segovia, Antioquia, and Remedios, where we have three operating mines, El Silencio, Providencia, and Sandraca. And we are currently open a new mine, which is called Carla. And the most interesting thing about this mine is they have been operating in the country for 150 years. And our mine time, so as you can see in my presentation, is very extensive, about 9,000 hectares. So it's a very large mining operation in those 2 regions in the northeast of Antioquia. One of the biggest challenges that we have in Colombia is that even though that the mines have been operated for 150 years, only the mining industry has started to develop in a very fast way since 2010, because of one of the main reasons was the gold price went up, as you all probably know, because you are in the industry. And it's been a big challenge to be able to convert our minds to be able to fulfill with all the expectations of the stakeholders. Because as I mentioned, the mines have been operated for 150 years, but without technology, without a safe infrastructure, without safe protocols. So for us, that was one of the biggest challenges. Also, I went back because we have another project. It's called Caldas Gold, and that project is in the Marmato region. And that's a project that is developing at the moment. It has a small gold production, but we are doing a pre-factibility project so far, and it's going to be one of the biggest projects in Colombia as well. So if we go into details of one of our operation, the Segovia operation, we own the 100% is ownership of Gran Colombia Gold, and we have high-grade underground mines. Our production in 2019 was 200,000 ounces. We are one of the top highest grade underground gold mines. Our gold grade is, as you can see in the presentation, is between 16.4 and sometimes it reaches 20 grades per ton. But that's approximately that we have, the average grade that we have. We also doing a very intense exploration program, because that was one of the biggest challenges that we have. That we have the mine that has been operating for such a long time, but we didn't have the research proof so far, and we doing a very intense exploration program in the mine industry, in our mines in Segovia. In the Marmato Project, which is located in another municipality called Caldas, we own 53.5%, and we're doing different activities in spawn out in Caldas Gold in 2010, rating control position. That project has been a very challenging project, and in the company, we have to change the project into different stages. At the beginning in 2010, it was going to be an open pit. However, because of the difficulties of doing mining in the country, because we haven't been a mining country and people don't know very much about the mining industry and the challenges that comes along, we have to change the project, and now it is more real that what we have presented to the government, and we are very happy because finally we're going to be able to to convert Marmato Project in one of the biggest mining projects in Colombia. We are building, as I mentioned, we are building the Colombian next major gold mine. It's a big challenge. We have a very senior team working together with us so we can develop this project because we have been working with them since 2010. In 2020, during this year, we are presenting the pre-factibility project, and we have validated the underground mine expansion into the deep zone. Marmato is like a big mountain. So at the moment, we have in the top of the mountain, we are in production, but our production is not as big as the one in Segovia. It's around 2,000 ounces, 2,000 ounces per month. As you can see, we have our Segovia operation, which is the one I'm more involved because even though the Gran Colombia works for the two projects, the one in Segovia, the one in Marmato, I'm more involved in the Segovia project, which is the project that is currently producing the major ounces. And Marmato, we are actually, our CEO is building a separate team. So we're gonna be two different companies in Colombia without an umbrella with Gran Colombia Gold. And what we want to do in Marmato, we want to replicate a little bit of what we have done in Segovia, because when I finish my presentation, I will tell you a little bit of the challenge that we face and how we accomplish everything that we have so far. As you can see, our production has been actually increasing year by year, and that's mainly achieved by improving the infrastructure of the mine, implementing technology, implementing health and safety procedures that we didn't have before. And that's one of the biggest challenges that we face here in Colombia, because for us, health and safety is one of our main pillars. And to change the culture in Segovia, which has been a mining municipality a mining region for 150 years, but without any structure of what a mining industry really is, hasn't been very easy. We are on track, and we're very proud to say that we are on track to meet our 2020 production, because of, the COVID had put every single company in difficulties and challenges. But we had made all the procedures and processes to protect our operation from the COVID, even though that we have COVID, because it's impossible to protect it for forever. But what our procedures and processes were very strong, and we are able to meet our production between, as you can see, it's going to be between 218,000 ounces and 226,000 ounces of gold. What we have is we demonstrate that our biggest challenge when we start the company in Colombia was that we had an infrastructure of 3 main mines with different levels, but they didn't have any safe infrastructure, they didn't have technology. So what our CEO was focusing on bringing like a very senior team for mining and trying to bring experience for different countries like Peru, Mexico, Chile, that have been in the mining industry for very long time. We have a very, in Colombia, we feel very proud because we have a record of improvement. I always say that it's like we are flying a plane, but we need to change the motor, the engine, everything without stopping. So it's been one of the biggest challenges that we have, because we are producing, but we are at the same time improving all the mines that we have. And not only we focus on increasing the production, but also in making the conditions for every work. Because for us, like the most important thing is the human resources. and the human and talent. So we are changing the culture of how to do mining in the most healthy and safety way, in the most safe way, and also with the looking to all the environmental issues. And one of our main flagships that we have is the community. We actually focus in the community and develop the community, and one of the things that actually helped us the most in Segovia was that we have the community approval to do the mining project. And that, I think that's very, very important for the mining industry, because you can have the gold, you can have the infrastructure, you can have the equipment, but if you don't have the community on your side and the community understand what you're doing for them and for the country, it's very hard to take the project into different levels. So we've been working very hard with the community, and we have a very important project in Segovia. As I mentioned, Segovia has been a place for mining years by years. 100 years they have been doing mining, and there were a lot of illegal miners, and there were a lot of use of mercury. And what the company did was to put a program in place with all those illegal miners to join the company and to join our policies and to join our processes. And what they're doing now is they're part of our production, because one of the biggest issues that we have when we started in 2010 was that our mine title was full of illegal miners. And one of the things that our CEO realized at the time was that, okay, what I'm gonna do with all these illegal miners, because I'm not able to keep them out of the mine. That's what they do, and the community is gonna be against the company. So what we did is we start taking all these illegal mines into the program, and now they produce the gold, we supervise them, we give them like different programs, so they join our environmental, our safety, our infrastructure. They are part of our protocols. And now they stop being illegal to become legal miners. And that makes a huge effect in the community. Because before you were called illegal, your money was illegal, and you couldn't sell your gold, everything had to do through the black market. Nowadays, they do it legally with a company and they belong to all the processes. And that's one of our biggest achievements, that how we involve all these illegal miners to our program. So far, we have about 47 contracts with different mines that we supervise. We have and they are part of our production, and we feel very proud of that, because we managed to have the community with us, but also develop the region, and that's very appreciated. Also, the other thing that we have been focusing on is to make infrastructure, because when we arrived, we have the 3 mines. Now we have our 4th mine, which is Carla. And for example, El Silencio mine has about 32 mining levels. But the infrastructure was very rough, ventilation was very poor, safety didn't exist. And that was been our biggest challenge. And I think that's why Gran Colombia Gold has been very successful, because we have been doing step by step what we can achieve. And mainly we start focusing on, okay, we need to produce ounces, because that's our core business, but we need to produce ounces in a safe way. So we start involving all our workers, their family, into the culture of safety, but also at the same time, when we gain the trust of the community and the workers, we start developing the mine in terms of technology, because usually when you bring technology, that creates changes, usually make people very scared. And then when we have the workers, they realize what we wanted to do, we communicate our plans, then we start introducing technology, and then people are starting to receive those changes in a more positive way. So we have been able to do like a good balance of producing the gold and changing the culture and improving the infrastructure of our mines. And we have our plant, we call it Maria Dama. If some of you speak Spanish, we have a lot of female names for some reason. Those were the names when we arrived, and we decided to keep it because it is tradition, and for us to keep the tradition and the values are very important. And the Maria Dama plant, we have been improving. It was a little bit funny because when people from other countries came, like from Canada, to visit the mine, they couldn't believe that our processing plant was working with that kind of equipment. They say all of this should be in a museum. So slowly but slowly, we actually improve our Maria Dama plant, and now we are increasing the production for 1,500 tons per day to 2,000 tons per day. So we are increasing our production year by year, and we're facing year by year different challenges, but we have been very proud because I think we managed to have a good balance between production, community, and our labor force, because I think that was kind of the best mixtures for the company to be able to achieve all these targets. And I think that's pretty much all I have to say about the company. I don't know if we can open to questions, or if anything else you want me to go into more details.
Well, first of all, thank you very much for the presentation there, Juliana. It's a very good news story, if you will. Seeing what the company and your team has done in 10 years. It sounds like you've managed to do everything that a company would want to do, and that is, through the improving of infrastructure, having the community on board, improving health and safety, and getting more ounces out of the ground. So congratulations on that part. But I'll open it. If people can use the question and answer tab, that would be appreciated for any questions. I would ask, I guess you suggest, or you mentioned that you had, you've overcome some major challenges, obviously, and you're obviously growing as a result of that. What do you think are your big challenges moving forward now? Is it something you could highlight?
Yes, I think our biggest challenge is we need to continue doing our exploration campaign, because the Segovia mine, as I mentioned, it's been in operation for 150 years, and our reserves are becoming to a limit. So the biggest challenge is how we found more ore, and also how we can continue with the infrastructure that we have. So for us, exploration is the biggest challenge that we have for the next years, because our reserves are starting to be more limited, and we need to find new areas in the Segovia region, because we need to increase our reserves. That's one of our biggest challenges. And also the other challenge that we have is that we need to increase our capacity in our mine, in our plant, in our processing plant. And I think I got me in our processing plant. And the challenge is how you can improve the processing plant without stopping the actual production. So that's also the biggest challenge that we have for the next, like for the short objectives that we have. And in the Marmato project, the biggest challenge that we have is that we need to, because that project has been changing quite a lot since 2010. As I mentioned before, it was going to be an open pit, and now we have to change it because we didn't have the approval of the government or the community, and we decided to change it, and we're going to go underground. We're going to build an underground mine, so to be able to get all the license here in Colombia to make that project real. So that's the biggest challenge that we have in the two different projects.
Oh, excellent. Thank you for sharing that. We do have some questions coming in. And I believe one Juan David asked you a certain question, but before you address his on the chat line there, the first question that we have here is, as you move exploration forward, are you looking toward electrification? Oh, sounded like somebody said it. Oh, sorry. It looked like it got answered. Sorry, let me start again. As you move exploration forward, are you looking to move toward electrification underground, for example, with air compressors?
Yes.
Yes. The short answer is yes.
Yes, the short answer is yes. Actually, we need, like for us, this kind of spaces are very useful because, as I mentioned before, we're going through different stages, and during we are in a moment that we need to bring more technology to be able to have more data and to improve the capacity of the mine in terms of the infrastructure, because we have to do it step by step, but we are in a very good moment in terms of financial position as well, because of those investments require cash, and we are in a very good financial position, and our mines are in a stage that they need to have technology and to make all those changes. So yes, actually we are looking for that.
Oh, okay, excellent. And I think this speaks to that. A question here is the company involved in a digital transformation of the mining business? And are you interested to introduce the contemporary digital technologies? This would be including planning, mine to mill, mine shafts, safety management. So basically a across the board platform.
Yes, I think that's something that we're going to start looking in next year, actually, because as we modernize, I don't know if that's the right word, but we make our mines more modern with more technology. We need to start receiving more information to be able to plan and to be able to have more control. However, that's going to be a big challenge, and I think we're going to be more ready probably in 2 years' time and 3 years' time, because at the moment we are actually going in a project where we are introducing connectivity inside the mine, like leaky feeder, fiber optic, and communication, and that's going to take us time to be able to go with in all the different levels in the mine and in the 4 mines. But that's a project that we are going through, and it started in 2019. This year we have to slow it down because of the COVID. We couldn't for 4 months we couldn't enter any suppliers to the mine, so it slowed down. But next year we're gonna have an aggressive program to be able to have more connectivity inside the mine in terms of Wi-Fi, communication. And I think we're going to go in the stage probably in 2022 to be able to have more data and more technology inside the mine, because I think that's where the industry is moving forward. So all your equipment that we have give you all the information for you to plan, for you to schedule maintenance and things like that. So I think that's going to be very useful for us in about 2022.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, and that makes sense, because we're seeing that as a general trend, that because of COVID, projects didn't get canceled, they got deferred. So we're going to see there's what we're calling pent up demand into 2021 and I guess into 2022 for you. Excellent. I have another question here. Oh, this is first, it was congratulations on your job in Colombia, as I alluded to as well. The question is, do you have a pilot plant to do your improvements? It sounds like you're doing things on the fly, as you mentioned with your airplane analogy.
At the beginning, we did. For the first 4 years, I have to be very honest, we did a stage by stage. Whatever we were finding, we tried to solve it. But now, since the company become more mature and more stable, we have a planning department, and they started about 2 years ago to start doing long-term plans. And yes, that's something. At the beginning, we couldn't do it, to be honest with you, because it was quite a lot of chaos in the company, because the mine was operating for so long. It didn't have an owner. It had a very big liability, and we have to solve all those problems before. It had environmental liability, have labor liabilities. So we have to solve all those problems. And to be honest, we did cover the problems as they started to raise. But nowadays, yes, as the company is more mature and all the improvements are made, we are doing long-term plans. And yes, we have a business plan, a mining plan, pardon. We have a mining plan for the next 2 years, and we're working with SRK to help us to do a mining plan for the next 5 years, and so on and so on. But yes, we are working on that because we realized that we needed. We couldn't keep working in the short-term goals, and we need to move forward to long-term goals. And our planning department is in charge of that.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Another question here with regards, I guess, to the exploration campaigns that you're doing. It says, what do you think it will be in the, what do you think it will be the extension of that period, and will it be intended for unexplored areas? Oh, okay. So I guess it's you're going to focus on growing the reserve base, which is kind of what we would call brownfield, I guess, exploration. But is there greenfield? Are you looking outside that property boundary?
Yes, we are doing two things. We have one that is our actual mines, and we do I'm not a geologist or mining engineers, but I try usually to understand. I ask a lot of questions to my colleagues, so I pretty much know what we're doing. So yes, we're doing two campaigns. One is inside the mine with all the geologists. They trying to improve the resources inside the actual mine that we have, but also we're doing exploration around our mine title. As you saw on the first slide on the presentation, we have now 9,000 hectares. It's a big title, and yes, we're doing two of the campaigns. What can we do with the actual infrastructure that we have, but also what can we do with the other areas? Segovia is a very rich region for gold. There are a lot of mines in Segovia, and the geologists that go there, they say that it's a very rich deposit. So we're very lucky to be there. And also, as I mentioned, we have a new mine, which is Carla, and Carla is under construction. We are developing. We are working very hard with the exploration. But yes, we're looking for new areas. For us, that's very important to be able to continue with the growing production that we expect.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And this goes back, I think, to Juan David's comment. If you could speak a little bit about in terms of increasing the efficiency in areas of energy consumption. So I guess the reduction of energy overall.
Yes, in Colombia, actually, we are working with, and we are actually building a project for energy, because we need to look for different alternatives to be able to reduce the energy consumption. Our maintenance manager is in charge of those projects. Actually, we met with a company in Colombia. They have different alliance with Canadian companies, and we start working in developing that project, because definitely that's an area that we need to work for the next year, because we need to start reducing the energy consumption. And also because in the region that we are, which is the northeast of Antioquia, we have our supplier of energy is EPM, which is our national electrical company, and they don't have the quantity of I don't know how to say it in English. I'm really sorry. I hope I'm making myself clear, but I don't have the capacity to supply the energy that we need. So we're working in parallel to build and to be able to reduce the energy and to look for more green energy as well. So yes,
Okay.
I'm not very involved in that specific project because it's very technical, but definitely it's something that we are looking into for next year, actually.
Okay. And so when you said green, you'd be looking at solar and wind, or?
I think it's more solar than wind. Yes, I think we're looking for different balance, but it's more solar than wind. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Excellent. Okay. Well, thank you very much for that. I'm looking for, there doesn't seem to be any questions right now coming for. Can you just a question for my style, I apologize for my ignorance in it, but what the process that you're using for processing the ore, I don't know if you can, is that like a cyanide process, or?
Yes, it's cyanide. Yes, it's cyanide.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Well, we have, I think we've done an excellent job. We've cleared the question queue there. I know we've also sent you, Juan David has sent you a list of things tied to this, your needs as well. And we'll look to matching with those as well at a later time. But if there are no other questions, I will take this moment here to thank you very much for your time. You've done a really good job of explaining needs of your organization, and again, it's a very good news story what you've done in the past 10 years. So congratulations on that part as well.
Thank you very much, and I'm very looking forward as well to meet with the companies that you send. And I had a look today, like a first glance, and they are very interesting companies that we definitely we look forward to hear from them, because I think we are at this stage when we need advice from companies that have been in the industry for a very long time, because we need to move to another step for next year, and I think it's going to be very useful. Thank you very much for organizing this. I hope you find my presentation useful, and if you have any more questions, and if you want to contact me, Juan David can give you my email address or my mobile number, and I'll be very happy to discuss more information if you require. Okay.
Perfect. Excellent. I really appreciate it. Okay. Well, thank you very much for everybody that had a chance to attend. And again, thank you very much, Juan David, for participating in this. Oh, we have one more question. Is it possible to get some mine contacts in automation and technologies? Okay. We will definitely get that. We'll get that contact for you there, Cindy. So perfect.
Yes, if you, what I usually do is, because I'm in charge in Gran Colombia Gold of the procurement department, I usually receive all the information, and what I try to do is I distribute it to all the relevant people within the company, and I copy them in the email, so you can have contact directly to them. Because sometimes I feel that if I have the only contact, I'm the middleman, and usually the communication is not very fluent, because they ask me a question, I have to go back to the manager or the mine manager or operation manager. So it's easy that the people that need to have the communication, they have it together, and then when we need to close the deal and things like that, then I usually join the communication. But I will be very happy if you send me the profile of your company with the brochure and everything. I distribute it with the relevant people within the company. And I also, what I do, I put you in contact with the people at the Marmato Project, because as I mentioned, we are completely, we are going to be two separate companies in the company, in the country. So I will put you in contact with the Caldas company as well.
Well, I think that is, that's music to a lot of suppliers' ears to hear that you do that. A lot of times you don't get that kind of collaborative sharing of the information. So we appreciate hearing that. And what we'll do is we'll make a point of collecting up people's needs here. For all the people that are watching, please reach out to Stephanie. She will then collate your requests, and then we will then get those over to Juliana. And she will then, of course, move that forward as well for you. So,
Yes.
Correct. So for whoever would like to be in contact with Juliana in Gran Colombia, you can email me at alvarez@mstacanada.ca, and I will make sure to pass all that information to Juliana.
Yeah,
No,
perfect.
thank
Excellent.
you very much.
Okay, well, and then in that case, again, thank you very much, Juliana. It was a real pleasure having you on our first, really, it's our first company call. So I'm very excited that we've done that. So take care, and we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, thank you very much for having me. It's been a pleasure, and I hope you can have like an overview in our company, and I'm very happy to receive all the information, and happy to help put in contact with the technical part of our company as well. So thank you very much for your time.
Excellent. Okay, gracias. Ciao.
Okay, thank you very much. Bye.